Hey guys, tonight we slip into the sun-soaked world of the Minoans, a civilization so vibrant it feels like stepping into a painting until volcanic ash buries it all. You stand on Crete's rocky shores, waves crashing, olive trees swaying, and colorful frescoes glowing under a sky too blue to be real. This is no ordinary history lesson. You're diving into a peaceful, maybe matriarchal society that vanished in a puff of catastrophe. Spoiler, you probably won't survive the eruption, but let's enjoy the ride. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop your location and local time in the comments. I'm curious where you're chilling tonight. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're on Crete around 2000 BCE, and the air smells of salt and wild thyme. The Minoans, named after mythical King Minos, thrive here, their world a blend of art, trade, and mystery. Unlike their war-happy neighbors, they seem to prefer painting dolphins to swinging swords. Historians call them Europe's first advanced civilization, with plumbing so good it shames your apartment's leaky faucet. Their cities like Knossos and Phaistos hum with activity, merchants haggling, potters spinning clay, kids chasing goats. No fortifications, no moats. These folks trust their navy and Crete's cliffs to keep enemies at bay. Fact check. Their script, Linear A, remains undeciphered, a 4,000-year-old middle finger to linguists. But here's a quirky tidbit. Some claim the Minoans used octopus tentacles in religious rituals, wrapping them around statues like squishy offerings. No hard proof, but imagine the cleanup. Historians still argue whether this was a deeply spiritual society or just a bunch of artsy traders with a goddess obsession. You wander through a marketplace, dodging baskets of figs and bronze tools. Women in flounced skirts barter confidently, their jewelry clinking. Gold, not the cheap stuff you got conned into buying on vacation. Are they priestesses, queens, or just savvy moms? No one knows, but their confidence feels like a clue. The Minoans' world feels alive, almost too perfect. You notice their frescoes, swirling waves, leaping bulls, and curvy goddesses with knowing smiles. Every corner screams, "We love life," but there's an edge. That volcano, Thera, looms 70 miles north, ticking like a time bomb. You don't know it yet, but it's the reason we're here, piecing together a culture from ash and rubble. For now, you're just a visitor, soaking in the sun, wondering what these people believe. Do they worship the sea, the sky, or something deeper, tied to the women who seem to run this show. You'll need to explore Knossos next, but don't get lost in the maze unless you brought snacks. Joke break. Why'd the Minoan build a palace? To confuse archaeologists for millennia. Seriously, their architecture is a labyrinthine flex. You're drawn to the colors, red pillars, blue monkeys on walls, like a toddler with a crayon went wild. The air's warm, but a breeze carries whispers of rituals, maybe in caves or hilltop shrines. You're hooked, right? This isn't just history, it's a vibe. So, you keep moving, sandals kicking up dust, ready to peel back the layers of this lost world. What's next? A palace so grand, it makes your IKEA furniture weep. You trudge up a dusty hill toward Knossos, Crete's crown jewel, where the Minoans built a palace so sprawling it feels like a city. Red pillars loom against white walls, and the scent of cedar lingers, mixing with salty air. This isn't just a building, it's a statement, opulent, chaotic, alive. You're weaving through courtyards, staircases, twisting like a snake goddess's curls. No wonder myths call this the labyrinth. You'd need a GPS to grab a snack. Mainstream fact: Knossos, excavated by Arthur Evans in the 1900s, housed thousands and had Europe's first paved roads. Yeah, Minoans were out here inventing infrastructure, while others were still arguing over fire. But here's the quirky bit. Evans, the archaeologist, got so obsessed he painted the ruins in garish colors, thinking he was restoring them. Now, parts look like a toddler's art project. Historians still argue whether Knossos was a palace, a temple, or a community hub. You step into a throne room. Its alabaster seat, low and curved, flanked by griffin frescoes, half lion, half eagle, all attitude. Is this where a king sat? A priestess? Or just some bureaucrat counting olive jars? The walls whisper secrets, but linear A keeps them locked tight. You duck through a doorway, nearly tripping on a clay pipe. Plumbing, people, actual flush toilets in 1700 BCE. Your last Airbnb didn't even have hot water. The palace hums with life. Artisans glaze pots, scribes scratch tablets, and kids dart past, giggling. Frescoes everywhere. Dolphins mid-leap. Women with coal-lined eyes. It's Instagram-worthy, minus the filters. Joke. Why'd the Minoan frescoes slap? They had 4,000 years to perfect their aesthetic. You notice storage rooms, pythoid jars stuffed with oil and grain. This place wasn't just pretty, it was practical, feeding thousands without a single Amazon delivery. Wandering deeper, you hit a courtyard where bull leaping might have happened. Picture acrobats flipping over charging bulls. Red Bull stunts before energy drinks. Was it sport, ritual, or just teens being reckless? You imagine the crowd's roars, the dust, the thrill. Knossos feels like the heart of Minoan belief, pulsing with art and mystery. Yet, no weapons, no war scenes. These folks painted peace while empires elsewhere glorified blood. Are they naive or enlightened? You're not sure, but the vibe's magnetic. A breeze carries distant sea sounds, reminding you of Thera's volcano, still silent for now. You linger by a fresco of a goddess, her arms raised, snakes coiling around them. Is she the key to their faith? You're itching to dig into that next, but for now, Knossos has you hooked. Every corner screams confidence, creativity, maybe even matriarchy. Joke. Knossos's architects must have hated straight lines. Mazes were their cardio. You leave the palace, sandals scuffing stone, mind buzzing. What's this goddess obsession all about? Time to find out. You're back on Crete's sunlit paths. The memory of Knossos's red pillars fading as you chase the Minoans' deepest obsession. They're goddesses. The air's thick with wildflower scents, and you're drawn to a small shrine, its walls painted with a woman, arms raised, eyes fierce, a crown of poppies. She's everywhere in Minoan art, from clay figurines to gold rings. This isn't just decor, it's devotion. Mainstream fact: archaeologists have found countless female figurines, often called snake goddesses, suggesting a religion centered on female deities. The Minoans didn't mess around with sidekicks. Women were the divine main event. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some scholars think these goddesses were worshipped with trance-inducing dances, maybe fueled by opium-laced wine. Picture a Minoan rave, minus the glow sticks. Historians still argue whether these figures represent one great goddess or a squad of deities ruling earth, sea, and sky. You kneel by the shrine, tracing a clay statue's curves. Her snakes writhe, symbols of rebirth or danger, or both. Is she a mother, a queen, or the island itself? The Minoans left no holy book, so you're guessing, just like the experts. You wander to a village square, where women in tiered skirts offer honey and figs to a stone altar. Men join in, but the women lead, their voices soft yet commanding. It feels like a matriarchal flex, but is it? The art screams goddess power, yet no texts confirm who ran the show. You imagine priestesses chanting, their words lost to time, maybe praising fertility or calming earthquakes. Crete's shaky ground must have felt like divine mood swings. Joke. Minoan goddesses had snakes for pets. Talk about high-maintenance deities. The sun dips, casting shadows on a fresco of women dancing, hands linked, skirts swirling. It's hypnotic, like they're pulling you into their world. You wonder if these rituals were daily or reserved for moonlit nights. Nearby, a potter shapes a goddess figurine, her fingers steady, humming a tune you'll never hear. This faith feels personal, not some distant temple dogma. You spot a child mimicking the dance, giggling. Belief here isn't stuffy, it's alive. Another joke. Minoan kids probably prayed for less snake handling homework. But there's a shadow. There is volcano, still quiet, looms in your mind, like a plot twist you can't unsee. Did the Minoans sense it? Did their goddesses warn them in dreams? You push the thought aside, focusing on a gold seal in a merchant's stall, stamped with a goddess holding a double axe. It's another clue, another symbol tying this faith together. You're starting to get it. These deities weren't just worshipped, they were the pulse of Minoan life. Next, you'll decode those snakes and axes, but for now, you linger, caught in the goddess's gaze. Final joke. Minoan shrines? Basically ancient Pinterest boards for divine inspo. You're clutching that gold seal from the market, its goddess glaring, double axe raised like she means business. Crete's symbols, snakes, bulls, axes, are everywhere, etched on pots, painted on walls, whispering Minoan beliefs. You're on a mission to crack their code, standing in a potter's workshop, clay dust tickling your nose. The air hums with purpose as a craftsman carves a bull's head onto a rhyton, its horns curving like a crescent moon. Mainstream fact. The double axe, or labris, appears in shrines across Crete, likely a sacred emblem tied to rituals, maybe symbolizing power or sacrifice. It's no paperweight, it's a spiritual heavyweight. Here's the quirky bit. Some fringe theorists claim snakes weren't just symbols, but actual pets, slithering freely in Minoan homes. Imagine stepping on one during a midnight snack run. Yikes. Historians still argue whether these symbols were purely religious or doubled as social status markers. You examine a snake goddess figurine, her serpents coiling up her arms. Snakes shed skins, so maybe they meant renewal, like a divine glow up, or danger tamed by faith. You're not sure, but their vibe screams, "Don't mess with me." Wandering to a hillside shrine, you spot a bull fresco, its eyes wild, muscles taut. Bulls were big deals, sacrificed, painted, maybe even leapt over. Their strength, fertility, maybe the earth's raw pulse. You imagine a priestess swinging a labrys, blood staining the altar. Not gory, just intense, like a Minoan blockbuster. Joke. Minoan bulls were the original gym bros. Pure beef, no filter. The double axe, though, feels central. Carved on palace walls, it's less weapon, more icon, maybe channeling a goddess's authority. You picture it glinting in torchlight during ceremonies. You sit by a sacred stone, tracing a snake carving. These symbols weave a story: life, death, rebirth. A nearby fresco shows a woman holding horns, her smile cryptic. Is she priestess or goddess? The lines blurry. Another joke. Minoan artists loved symbols so much, they probably doodled snakes on their tax forms. Thera's shadow lingers in your mind. That volcano, ready to bury these signs under ash. Did the Minoans see bulls as earthquake omens? You push the thought away, focusing on a clay tablet with a laborious sketch. It's a puzzle piece, tying art to faith. The sun sets, painting the sky like a Minoan fresco. You're starting to get it. These weren't random doodles. Snakes, bulls, axes. They're the Minoans' spiritual alphabet, spelling out a world where goddesses ruled and nature pulsed with meaning. Next, you'll dig into whether women ran this show, but for now, you linger, the seal heavy in your hand. Final joke: Minoan symbols, basically ancient emojis for worship or bust. You're weaving through a Cretan village, the memory of that double axe seal still heavy in your palm, as you chase a bigger question. Did women rule the Minoans' world? The sun beats down, and you're dodging goats and clay pots, noticing women everywhere, leading market deals, tending shrines, their laughter cutting through the dusty air. This feels different from other ancient societies, where men's egos usually hogged the spotlight. Mainstream fact: Minoan art shows women in prominent roles, often larger than men in frescoes, suggesting they held high status, maybe as priestesses or leaders. No kingly statues here, just goddesses and fierce ladies. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some wild theories claim Minoan women used saffron as a sacred dye, staining their clothes to mark spiritual rank. Imagine spilling that on your skirt. Divine, but dry cleaning nightmare. Historians still argue whether this was a true matriarchy or just a society that hyped women's religious roles. You pause by a fresco of a woman pouring wine onto an altar, her posture commanding. Is she a queen, a high priestess, or just the village's best sommelier? The lack of texts keeps it murky, but the vibe screams girl power. You slip into a courtyard where women weave vibrant cloth, their fingers quick, chatting like they own the place. Men are here too, hauling baskets, but the women set the rhythm. It's not just art. Even burials show women with fancy grave goods. Gold, not the dollar store knockoffs you'd get. Joke: Minoan women probably invented the power pose, altar edition. You imagine them running councils, maybe deciding trade deals or festival dates. But was it political power or just spiritual clout? No throne screams empress, yet the goddesses they worshipped feel like their mirror. Wandering to a hilltop shrine, you see a girl mimic her mother's offering, tossing barley at a stone. Faith and leadership seem woven together, passed down like recipes. Another joke. Minoan moms probably told their kids, eat your figs, and maybe you'll run the next ritual. Thera's volcano lingers in your thoughts, its distant threat, a reminder this world won't last. Did women sense it, guiding their people through omens? You push the idea aside, focusing on a clay seal showing a woman with a staff. Authority, not just devotion. The day fades, and you're struck by how natural this feels. Women steering, not sidelined. It's not utopia. Men matter too, but the balance tilts female. You're itching to explore their rituals next. Those cave ceremonies whispered about in Knossos. For now, you linger, watching a woman light a lamp, her face calm, powerful. Final joke. Minoan ladies didn't need crowns. Their skirts had more tears than a wedding cake. You're descending a rocky path, the village's hum fading as you head toward a cave, its mouth dark against Crete's golden hills. The Minoans held rituals here, secret ceremonies tied to their goddesses, and you're about to slip inside. The air cools, damp with earth and mystery, and your torch flickers, casting shadows like dancing priestesses. Mainstream fact. Archaeologists found cave sanctuaries across Crete, filled with offerings like figurines and pottery, proving these were sacred spaces for Minoan worship. No grand temples, just nature's raw embrace. Here's the quirky bit. Some believe Minoans use psychoactive herbs in caves, tripping into visions to commune with deities. Imagine a spiritual glow-up with a side of dizziness. Historians still argue whether these rituals were elite affairs or open to all. You step deeper, stalactites dripping like frozen tears. Clay shards crunch underfoot, offerings left centuries ago. A snake goddess figurine, half buried, stares up, her eyes glinting in the torchlight. Is she guarding secrets or just judging your caving skills? The cave narrows, and you crouch, heart thumping. You imagine priestesses chanting, their voices echoing, maybe splashing milk or honey on stones. Was this about fertility, death, or begging the earth to stop quaking? You spot a carved double axe, its edges worn. It's intimate, not showy. Faith carved into the island's bones. Joke. Minoan caves, where you pray and hope you don't trip on a stalagmite. You picture women leading, their skirts brushing rock, men following with jars of oil. Matriarchy or not, women owned these moments. A faint breeze carries sea salt, reminding you of Thera's looming volcano. Did they sense its anger here, in the Earth's pulse? You shake it off, focusing on a pile of bones, animal, not human, thank goodness. Sacrifices, maybe bulls, tying back to those Knossos frescoes. Another joke. Minoan rituals probably had the best playlist. Flutes and goddess vibes only. The cave feels alive, its silence loud with belief. You're itching to see bull leaping next, but for now, you linger, torch low, caught in this sacred dark. Final joke. Cave ceremonies. The original, low battery, high faith experience. You're back in the sunlight, blinking hard after the cave's damp embrace. And now you're in a Knossos courtyard, dust swirling as a crowd gathers. The air crackles with anticipation. Bull leaping, the Minoans' wildest spectacle, is about to unfold. Young acrobats, men and women, stretch nearby, their linen kilts bright against tanned skin. A massive bull snorts, horns gleaming, and your heart skips. Mainstream fact: frescoes depict bull leaping scenes, showing athletes somersaulting over charging bulls, a practice unique to Minoan Crete, likely tied to ritual or status. This isn't just a stunt, it's a dance with death. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some fringe scholars suggest bull leapers drank a courage-boosting brew, maybe laced with herbs, to face those horns. Imagine chugging Red Bull's ancient cousin before flipping over a 2,000-pound beast. Historians still argue whether this was a religious rite, a coming-of-age test, or just extreme entertainment. You lean against a red pillar, the crowd's cheers buzzing like static. The first leaper sprints, grabs the bull's horns, and vaults mid-air, twisting, landing with a thud. The crowd roars. You're sweating just watching. You notice the bull's eyes, wild but sacred, tying back to those cave offerings. Is this about taming nature, honoring a goddess, or showing off for the priestess in the front row? The acrobats move like they've trained for years, their grace defying the chaos. Joke. Bull leaping, when your cardio and prayers better be on point. You spot a woman leaper, her focus razor sharp, flipping with ease. Gender doesn't matter here, skill does. It's another hint of that matriarchal vibe, or at least equality in defying gravity. The sun blazes, and Thera's distant threat creeps into your mind. Did they leap to appease angry gods? You push it aside, watching another acrobat stick the landing, dust clouding. The crowd chants, and you imagine this as a festival, maybe tied to harvest or moon phases. Another joke. Minoan bulls, probably retired, with serious grudges against acrobats. You're hooked, but questions linger. Was this faith sport, or both. Next, you'll sail with their peaceful trade, but for now, you stay, caught in the thrill, the crowd's energy electric. Final joke, bull leaping tryouts, where Minoans invented hold my wine. You're aboard a Minoan ship, the sea sparkling like a sapphire, Crete's cliffs shrinking behind you. The sail billows, painted with spirals, and the crew, bronze-skinned, calloused, works ropes with easy rhythm. You're sailing their trade routes, a web stretching from Egypt to Anatolia. Proof the Minoans were more than palace painters. Mainstream fact, Minoan ships, found in shipwreck, remains and frescoes, carried goods like olive oil, wine, and saffron, making Crete a Bronze Age trade hub. No swords, just cargo. Peace was their brand. Here's the quirky bit. Some say Minoan sailors tattooed dolphins on their arms for luck, believing they were goddess-sent guides. Picture a salty captain flexing his ink, ancient sailor swagger. Historians still argue whether this piece was strategic or just island life chill. You lean over the rail, spotting amphorae stacked below, sloshing with oil. Ports like Akrotiri on Thera or Byblos in Lebanon welcomed these ships, trading for lapis lazuli and ivory. You imagine merchants haggling in a mix of gestures and broken phrases. No Google Translate needed. The crew chants, oars dipping in sync, and you feel the Minoans' confidence. Their navy ruled the Aegean, pirates steering clear. Joke, Minoan sailors probably bragged, our boats, faster than your chariot. You notice a woman among the crew, directing the course, another nod to that matriarchal vibe from Knossos. Trade wasn't just wealth. It spread their art, their goddess worship, maybe even those snake figurines. You picture a trader gifting a labrous pendant in a foreign market, spreading Crete's mystique. Thera's volcano looms closer now, its smoky peak visible. Did sailors whisper about its rumbles? You shake it off, focusing on a dolphin leaping alongside, its arc like a fresco come alive. Another joke, Minoan trade routes, where you barter oil and accidentally start a fashion trend. This peaceful network feels fragile though, with Thera's shadow growing. You're itching to face that eruption next, but for now, you sway with the waves, Crete's wealth and calm carrying you forward. Final joke, Minoan merchants invented free shipping with a goddess's blessing. You're back on Crete, the sea's glitter fading as a tremor shakes the ground, rattling clay pots in a nearby market. The sky darkens, not with clouds, but ash, drifting from Thera, 70 miles north. The Minoans' world is about to crack open. You're caught in the moment. Their peaceful society faces nature's fury. Mainstream fact, Thera's eruption around 1600 BCE One of history's largest volcanic events spewed ash and tsunamis that devastated Crete's coast and crops. It didn't wipe them out instantly, but it started their decline. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some claim Minoans tried to appease the gods post-eruption by burying sacred objects like a desperate cosmic bribe. Imagine hiding your best labrys under a floorboard, hoping for mercy. Historians still argue whether the eruption was a sudden apocalypse or a slow economic choke. You run toward Knossos, dodging panicked goats and shouting merchants. The air tastes of sulfur, and waves crash harder, flooding fields. You picture priestesses at shrines, arms raised praying to snake goddesses for calm. Did they think they'd angered her? The ground shakes again, and you stumble into a courtyard, remembering those bull-leaping frescoes. Now they feel like omens. Tsunamis hit, not Hollywood style, but enough to ruin ports and trade. Joke. Minoan sailors probably cursed. We just waxed the ships. Ash blankets olive groves, starving the economy. You see a woman salvage a clay figurine from rubble, clutching it like a lifeline. Was faith their anchor or a cruel tease? Another quake hits, and you duck under a red pillar, heart pounding. The Minoans' plumbing, their art, their peace, it's all crumbling. Thera's shadow, once distant, now chokes the island. You recall those cave rituals, wondering if they sensed this doom. Another joke. Minoans invented volcano prep, but forgot the evacuation plan. You're not sure if they fled or rebuilt, but the vibe's grim. Next, you'll sift through their buried legacy, but for now, you crouch, ash stinging your eyes, feeling their world slip. Final joke. Thera's eruption, when Mother Nature sent Crete a breakup text. You're standing on Crete's scarred shore, ash settling like gray snow. The once vibrant Minoan world, muffled under Thera's wrath. You sift through the rubble, piecing together what their beliefs left behind. Knossos still stands, but its colors are dulled, its people scattered. Mainstream fact: the Minoans didn't vanish overnight. Their culture lingered, blending with Mycenaean influences. But Thera's eruption marked a tipping point, burying their peak under ash and time. Their art and symbols endure, whispering in museums. Here's the quirky bit. Some say Minoan priestesses hid sacred snakes in jars during the chaos, hoping to preserve their goddess's power. Picture a ceramic time capsule, slithering with faith. Historians still argue whether their religion faded or morphed into later Greek myths. You wander a ruined shrine, spotting a cracked labrys, its edge catching fading sunlight. Those goddesses, snakes, and bulls, did they comfort the Minoans as their world collapsed? You imagine a woman, maybe a priestess, tracing a fresco's curves, defiant against despair. The sea's calm now, but Crete feels hollow. You recall Knossos plumbing, those dolphin frescoes, the bull leaper's grace, their peaceful trade, their cave chants, all buried, yet somehow alive, in every unearthed pot. Joke, Minoan ruins, the ultimate we were here flex, their matriarchal hints, those powerful women, echo in myths like Ariadne's thread. Were they the last to cling to the old ways? You kick a stone, picturing linear A's lost words. Another joke. Minoans probably hoped archaeologists would crack their code by now. Sorry, folks. As dusk falls, you sit by a broken altar, Thera's scar faint on the horizon. Their beliefs, goddess-centered, nature-woven, feel like a gift, fragile but fierce. Final joke, Minoan legacy? Proof you can be epic and still hate volcanoes. The world softens now, the ash fading into a gentle haze. You're no longer on Crete's rocky shore. You're sinking into your pillow, the hum of a fan blending with distant waves. The Minoan story, their goddesses and bulls, their quiet strength settles over you like a warm blanket. No need to chase answers tonight. Their mysteries can wait, whispering in dreams. Let the sea's rhythm carry you, slow and steady, into a place where time doesn't rush. Their legacy endures, not in stone, but in the calm it brings you now. Sleep calls, soft as a priestess's chant. Rest well.